Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Spiritual Scientist. I'm Victor Hamza. Hi, thanks for checking me out. Just wanted to come on, talk for a little bit about a couple things. I think it was important. I don't feel like I need to do a lot of videos. I'm going to try to do more videos, but I just don't feel like I need to, do a lot. It's easy for me not to do a video than to do a video. I have always a lot to say, but I'm an INFJ and mentioned that before, so I'm a little bit on the introverted side sometimes. Easy to come out and the internet and say stuff, and when you're not in front of people, but when you're in front of people, maybe I'm a little more introverted. Anyway, I just want to tell people, first of all, number one, not to panic. Now, just to put logic to everything about the coronavirus. If you're coming out from a point of scarcity from fear, you attract, fear and, negative things, of course, in your life. So you want to be from a positive point of view. Excuse me. You always want to be from a positive point of view and, try to look at things in a positive manner. Of course, that's certainly number one thing. Now, when positive, I always say this saying, positive things happen to positive people, So, you're looking down a positive path and then you're going to have, good things happen. So that's number one. Not saying to ignore things, but I understand there's a lot of scarcity. I don't think it's, you don't have to go out and spend your life savings on supplies right now, even though everybody's saying do that, do that. If you want, pick up a 10-pound bag of rice. It's not a bad idea. Eventually, you're going to eat it. Rice stays good for a year. Can't be a bad investment. Get the rice you want. Get something that tastes good that you'll enjoy and you'll know you're going to eat it. Don't get something if you're going to go out and get some extra supplies and then you say, oh, this one's cheap. And then, it's going to go bad and then you're never going to eat it. Number one, if you do eat it, you want to be aware of, the good thing to eat, obviously, not something else. But just, I would say the most common thing is to buy the food that you normally eat. You don't have to change your diet tremendously. If you're going to buy some food, I'm not saying you have to go buy food. What I'm saying is you don't have to, buy it all at once and, cram it in there. You want to get, now I'm hearing from a lot of people, you want to get 1 to 3 months supply. Not a bad idea. And you know what? Always a good idea to have, extra supplies just to have it. But here's the thing, So let's say that you have 3 months supply of food, right? It's whatever you need, water or whatever. By the way, I was just talking about it. If I hit the lotto right now, I think I'd go buy that antiviral medication and AIDS medicine and all that shit. I'd buy a lot of that and I'd store it up, just to have it if I had the money for it. But that's probably something horrible to do because, hospitals are going to need it and they're going to be out and then you're going to be like, oh. So, just saying, I probably would want a little bit for myself extra. Not a bad idea. See if you get your doctor gets you some, extra medication. But then again, I don't expect this video to go viral. It's not like tens of thousands of people are going to be watching this anyway. So I'm not affecting the general public with whatever I say. So, if it was a video that 10 million people were going to watch, I would say don't buy any medicine at all because leave it for the people who need it. That's the important thing. So buy as much as you need for for yourself, but leave some for other people too. I wrote a meme and I said, if you're going to come to my door, I want to greet you with a piece of bread or not end of a shotgun. So I think it's important for people to, get things for others too. Don't just think about yourself. Be the spiritual teachers and healers and leaders and examples for those around you, because you affect your reality. So if you're all like, acting in a panic manner, then other people are going to have this. I mean, here I live in New York. When it snows an inch, there's long lines to get into the grocery stores, and everybody's flipping out. And it snowed an inch, and then there's nothing. It's just like, what are you doing? So again, you don't have to go crazy. I'm watching videos of 6-hour lines to get into Costco's in certain states. I don't think you have to go crazy. Moderation is in everything, right? The other thing is, so let's say worst case scenario, blah, 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 blah. So let's say, let me do the thinking for you. Let's say, yeah, it's bad. And then, everybody's worried, whatever. And then people don't want to go out. Much possible, everybody's staying in. And now you're in. And let's say, you say, I got 3 months of food and I could self-isolate. Now, if you're an INFJ like me, introvert, yay, you got all the books, you got everything you want, you know, um, that's fine. I've been on missions where I had to be 6 months at a time on certain places with months and months of isolation. And hey, I know I'm good at it. Trained for it, right? So what I'm saying is, when does it end? That's what we have to think about, the end game. Because here's the thing. I know a lot of people aren't talking about the end game. And when I say end game, I don't mean to sound too, scary. But what I'm saying is, if we look at it like a linear graph and you're looking at, the coronavirus going up, and then you're self-isolating, it might not, they're saying in certain places in China, leveled off and went down. I don't know about the China numbers, but what I am saying is that if it keeps, just ramping up and ramping up and ramping up more, the more people are getting it and more people are getting it. How long are you going to self-isolate? That's the thing. They just said that maybe the Pope has it the other day. I was watching that in the news. I mean, it's how many people you get in contact with is how many people are going to get it. Right now, according to a lot of websites, are saying it's 1% death rate, I guess, is the number. 9 in 1,000, which equates to just a hair under 1%, according to the media, which you don't know. So what I'm saying is, how long is it going to be too long? So I think it's important thing is, if you do have your own supplies, to not eat those supplies right away. Those are your supplies. And then continue to do your normal thing for as long as possible. The other thing is, self-isolation would be the key. I don't think in this country, I'm in the United States, I don't think they're going to be quarantine, and I said that correctly, at all for as long as possible. They're not going to quarantine and quarantine people. They're not. Let's face it. The government's not that smart about this kind of stuff. They're going to try to keep the economy going. They're going to try to keep people at their jobs for as long as possible. And if you're in a job where you're, in a restaurant, you're in retail, you're doing those kind of jobs, you're in contact with a lot of people, you're bound, if it's 3 times more catchy than the cold, unfortunately, you're going to get it. So what you're going to get is you're going to get it, and then you're going to I guess you'll have to self-isolate. You'll be out of it for a bit. But what are you going to come back to, right? Because again, we're talking majority. So Most people maybe get a little stomach flu, maybe get a little bit sick. 40 to 70% of people are supposed to be able to get it. Then what happens? When you get it, now you're over it. Are you immune to it again? I don't know. I don't know if you are. I hope so. Hope you had it and it's gone, right? Like the flu. Could be you catch it again. Could be you catch it worse. Could be you don't get it. Who knows? But let's say eventually you're going to get it. Then you're going to get it. Let's say you get what people, 40% of people get. You're going to get stomach, virus. And then you're going to be sick for a day or two. And then let's say, go back to normal. What are you going back to normal to? You're going to be going back maybe to a world where people are worried about being in contact with any people anymore. And, people are wearing masks all the time. And, so you have to decide, is this going to change your reality? Are we all going to be self-isolating in our houses and not coming out as much as possible, wearing masks all the time? What kind of society is this going to lead to? That is an interesting, topic. And you're not hearing anybody talk about it because, nobody's really thinking, I think, that this far ahead. And if they are, they're keeping it to themselves. But I'd like to think that people are going to be helping other people a lot and, bringing people together instead of, like I said, instead of greeting people at the door with a shotgun, you're greeting with a loaf of bread, uh, feeding other people. I mean, having that, goodness, what you do unto others, comes back to you. That will be done unto you, and treat everybody like yourself. Like, we really have to get into this brotherly mindset. That's one thing I wanted to say is to help people, and I do distance healing. I have it on my website. I have a thing. If you want a distance from healing from me, I do them. I just use a picture. I don't really need a picture anymore, but I can use a picture. But the thing is that you could donate to Feeding America. I've been accepting donations for healings for a while now, so you could just donate to. You send me something that you donated to Feeding America, and then I'll send you distance healing. That's great. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I am a spiritual person. A lot of people are spiritual. I'm here. So I'm here for people. I feel like I'm quote unquote sent, to be here to, help. So the one thing is to not panic. You want to be, like I said, healers, teachers. You want to be role models. You don't have to panic about anything. You know, don't worry about it. Don't let the media try to scare you, because media gets paid when you're interfacing with them, when you're watching them, when you're listening to them, when you're sharing what they're sharing. That's when they're making their little micro penny, and all those micro pennies add up to dollars and hundreds of dollars and a lot of money. So they're looking for that micro dollar from being a share, and whatever, to get you, tweaked up about it and, really worried. So that's one thing. I just wanted to mention that. So don't let people scare you. You want to be in the wavelength of love and abundance all the time. I think that's important. I think it's really important, and I don't think that if you're gonna live, you can't. I have this saying. So if you worry about what you can, would you worry about something that you can change? No, because you can change it. You see, Would you worry about something that you can change? No, because you can't change it. If you can't change something, why worry about it? So that is the best thing to do, is not to worry. George Washington said uh, prepare for the worst and we hope for the best. So you prepare. That's smart, to be prepared, but you don't want to. You don't want to be in negative, and cause panic and make people scared about certain things, because at the end of the day, it's just a new flu, right? Right? At the end of the day, it's a new flu for us right now, and that's it. Uh, so I just thought I'd share that. Kind of important, I think, to get a rein on it. I know a lot of people are just obsessing about the coronavirus, and I mentioned in the past couple of videos that it was one of the angels that I noticed that you know fell from the heavens. I mentioned this if you watch my other videos, and yeah, I believe that. You don't have to believe it, whatever. I know certain things, but I'm a spiritual person, and I'm here for it. So if you want to comment, I'll comment back. I have a website. Happy to talk to about certain things. I had a website. I had a post recently. I do memes about certain subjects. I think right now it's 40,000 people have looked at it. It's about basically if you stay in the light, it's not that what it's about. I mean, this isn't the meme, but staying in the light, then you can see the shadows. So you want to stay in the truth, stay who you are, stay true to yourself, and live in the present moment. And then when that happens, that's all you can do, right? And that's when you can see the shadows. So it's when you're being who you really are and being present in the moment, that is when you're able to do the right thing. So I see this all the time in my daily life. People come up to me, um, you know like for instance, well, there's a pretty girl over there, what do I say? I'll say, be yourself. You hear that, it sounds trite, and they're like, who am I? They're gonna say. So, or they're saying, be present. So what does that mean, to be present? It, it means not to be thinking of, certainly, of the past or the future. Be present, and then you're gonna let go of those thoughts that you have, those thoughts, the worry, thoughts of this, thoughts of that. They're all distractions, right? You're getting all these distractions. Through meditation, you're able to let go of the thoughts, and the whole idea is to find that, and I always talk about this, find that inner peace. It's the bit in between the thoughts, that part. Through meditation, through humps of breathing, it's on my website, you even a little bit will help you widen those parts, and then you get to the widen, and then you get into the silence, and I'm in that silence, right? So my consciousness resides in that silence. So when I speak, I'm coming from silence. I'm not coming, and that's where I have all these original thoughts, and people come to me and they go, they're like, what you have, what'd you say? And yeah, I never heard that before. Well, maybe that's because I just had that thought, original thought, not a copy of a copy of a copy. And there's like, so that's because you have those, I was talking about two-dimensional and higher dimensions. When you get to, it's when you control your mind instead of it controlling you. That's what the name of the game is. I have this thing, I made up another meme. I said, the first rule of Enlightenment Club is you don't tell anybody about Enlightenment Club, right? So we're going to keep that a secret. So that's the idea. But the idea is that you know that you have to run away from spiritual teachers because you have to look inside yourself. So, and then if anybody's saying they're enlightenment, must be coming from ego. Well, not if you're a spiritual teacher and you're trying to teach somebody about enlightenment. Then I think that rule you could bend a little bit, and then you could say, "Hey, I found this to help me to help to pass that knowledge along." Fine, but so many people are always happy, happy to point the finger. I have another saying. I say if it's if someone says they're stupid, if a man says he's stupid, everyone's going to agree with him. But if a man says he's enlightened, everyone will disagree. And this hat looks, my hair looks stupid, but that looks worse. So, and it's hot. It get hot. What I'm saying is that the majority will always put you down because it's because they're getting one up on you and they're coming from ego, so they're always going to put you down. I found this by posting on the internet, and then we live in our David Icke said we live in our own prison because we're worried about public opinion. So I'm paraphrasing, but he said a better way than that. But I'm saying that you're living in fear. So we're all in this fear place where we're not sharing, we're not being our true self because we're saying what we really want to say, and then we get beat up because because you're reaching when you're saying what you're really saying. What are you doing? You're reaching. You're being creative. You're being unique. You're being different. And when that uniqueness comes up, when that difference, comes up, people notice it. It's like a lawn, and then there's one weed that grows up. They see it, and they like, oh, let's chop that down. So certainly, I'm used to being chopped down all the time, day and night. All the time, wherever I go. I'm just I'm being unique. I'm being original. Being myself, and all you do is get attacked all the time. Am I exaggerating? No, not at all. And then people are like, "What?" They just, I'm just being myself, and it really does help people though. And when you're present, then it helps them a lot, and then they're able to, be more centered themselves. And it's like you're giving them that red pill, and then they're taking it. They're giving to someone else a red pill, so that helps raise the consciousness of the planet. You have no idea by saying what you really are saying, but coming from again, coming from your heart, coming from love. Of course, that's the other part of it. So I'm always saying this in a different way, but you're coming from your heart, and then who's within your heart? Who is within there? Is Jesus in your heart? Did you accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior? Is Jesus in the center there? If you're reflecting off of that, if you're taking out that sinning, everybody's a sinner. Everybody has these things, it's easier to stop than go on sometimes if you let that bog you down. But when you accept that forgiveness, and then you look at everything differently. I can interact with a high net worth individual, sometimes at my job, like I'm, very wealthy. 9 times out of 10, I have to say, maybe 10 out of 10, probably 10 out of 10, unforgiving, no forgiveness in their heart. They don't have Jesus. No. That's why Jesus said, easier for someone to get into heaven through the eye of the needle than to have, sometimes be wealthy. Or he didn't say sometimes be wealthy, because, that feeds that ego. It gets egocentric, and then you forget that forgiveness aspect, and horrible people, me, horrible, and that's what that's what it's like. So sometimes I'll get on my hands and knees and I go, thank you, Lord, for not making me, too wealthy. You know, sounds crazy, right? Thank you for letting me be normal in the middle class. You know, thank you so much. Because if you're too wealthy, you know, if I was too wealthy, I wouldn't be, I think, as awake as I am. You know, it's that struggle. It's a struggle that allows us to be more alive, to be more awake, to be on that cutting edge. You know, that sword of that sword, the cutting edge of truth. So when you're more awake because you had those things, so these hardships that are put in our front of us, you have to look as a test. So like the coronavirus, you know, how are you going to react? You know, that's what it's at, what it's like. That's what life is like. It's like a game. And how are you reacting? How are you going to help your fellow man? Really, that isn't that the test? Isn't that how you're supposed to respond? How? What is the most I can help people? What would really help people at this time? You know, so I took it upon myself to make this video, devoting half an hour of my life to sit down and talk to you guys and ladies, and you know, say that not to worry. And I'm a spiritual teacher, and I do healing, and I'm here to help. So don't let that don't let the world scare you to death, and you know, live in fear, because then things happen. When you dwell in the shadows will arrive, and they'll consume you, and they'll be around you. But stay in the light, stay positive, be a role model, be a healer, be a teacher, be a leader. You know, the people who follow me, who follow what I'm saying, I'm always telling them, I'm looking for followers who can be leaders. You know, you don't measure a master by how many followers the master has. You measure a master by how many masters he produces. So that's what it's about. I want other people to, you know, come into their own. You know, there's 7.7 billion people on the planet. We need more teachers and healers, and not less. You know, more spiritual gurus, more helpers. You know, I'm fine with that. I'm not greedy. I just know that my truth is the truth, so I'm happy to share it with you guys, because I'm, you know, speaking from quote unquote source, and I really do speak from source, in a real way. So I think it's important to know that everything's going to be okay, and share this if you will. Like, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for the time you spent with me. If you have anything that you want to speak about in the comments, I'm happy to comment. I do try always to comment. If you don't see a comment, comment again, and I'll comment. Obviously, I get busy. Yesterday, I worked, just to tell you, I have a couple jobs. I worked, and I get there, you know, I woke up early, get there, you know, 8:30, and I worked till 8:30 in the morning, and then I went to my second job after my job. I worked till midnight. You know, a lot of us are working a lot, you know, trying to put things together, make ends meet. So, but that's the way I want it, you know, that's the way it should be, because then, you know, I'm cutting edge with you guys, right? Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks so much for everything, checking this out. If you watched it to the very end, congratulations, you made it. And anything you want to talk about, if you want to comment about a future video, I could talk about it. I'm not afraid to talk about it. All right. Like, subscribe, share. Thank you. All right. Don't be scared. Live in the light.